Welcome back to True Crime Chronicles, the podcast where history's darkest cases come back to life. I'm your host, Tyler.
And I'm your co-host, Maya. Tonight's episode takes us back to the 1890s to the hotel that would later be known as the Murder Castle.
A place filled with secret passages, gas lines, trapdoors, and hidden rooms. And at the center of it all, H.H. Holmes.
A man who confessed to 27 murders but may have killed far more.
H.H. Holmes was born Herman Webster Mudgett. He was active between the ages of 30 and 33 during his killing spree between 1891 and 1894.
According to the historical accounts from the case file, Holmes was believed to have traits of a psychopath and narcissist personality. He was described as a manipulative, a liar, and someone who used different identities. Some even said that he had a certain charm.
His background is disturbing. He grew up with religious parents and reportedly had an abusive father. As a child, he was bullied, partly because of his superior academic abilities.
He attended Phillips Exeter Academy and graduated from Gilmanton Academy with honors at just 16 years old. He later enrolled at the University of Vermont for 1 year before transferring to the University of Michigan for medical school.
And it was during this time he reportedly became obsessed with death, dissecting animals and studying anatomy, an early sign of what is to come.
Today's episode is sponsored by Study Smart Notebooks, helping students stay organized for research projects, presentations, and podcasts just like this one.
With structured note sections, timeline pages, and citation guides, Study Smart makes breaking down complicated cases easier than ever.
Check out Study Smart Notebooks because even the darkest mysteries need clear organization.
Holmes built what later became known as the Murder Castle in Chicago.
Inside were soundproof rooms, secret passages, trapdoors, gas lines led into the bedrooms, and chutes that directly led into the basement.
Investigators later discovered vats of acid, a crematory, surgical equipment, and human remains including bone fragments and teeth. Let's bring it into our guest investigator. Joining us is criminal research specialist Faith Saldos. Faith, what makes the case so significant?
What stands out is the level of planning. According to the case evidence, Holmes designed rooms with gas pipes to suffocate victims. Bodies were transported through chutes into the basements. Remains such as bones and teeth were discovered there, along with victims' belongings, rings, clothing, and jewelry.
And many victims were women he had personal relationships with, correct?
Yes. For example, Julia Smythe was a young mother who worked in the hotel and trusted H.H. Holmes as both were her employer and someone who showed interest in helping her build a better life. She was described by others as kind, hardworking, and devoted to her daughter Pearl. Julia wanted stability and security, and she believed Holmes could offer her opportunities. Her daughter Pearl Connor was just a child, bright, playful, and full of curiosity about the world. She depended entirely on her mother and had her entire life ahead of her. Amelia Sergran was 23 years old and had moved to Chicago from Indiana. She was educated and ambitious, working as a secretary. Ameline was known for her independence and optimism. She had dreams of success and was excited about the opportunities a growing city offered. Friends described her as friendly and trusting, someone who believed in people and the future she was building for herself. Minnie Williams was another young woman Holmes became close to. She came from Texas and was educated and talented, with aspirations of making something meaningful of her life. Minnie trusted Holmes enough to maintain a personal relationship with him even involved him in her financial affairs. Her sister Nanny Williams later came to Chicago to visit her. Nanny cared deeply about her sister and wanted to stay connected to her family. She was loyal and protective, and her disappearance deeply affected those who knew her. Records indicate Julia and Pearl disappeared around Christmas of 1891. Ameline died in 1892, while Minnie and Nanny died in 1893.
Investigators reportedly found Minnie's watch, chain, and Nanny's garter buckle in one of the hotel ovens. Amelian's hair and bones were also discovered.
And then there were the Pitzel children.
Yes, Alice, 13, Nellie, 14, and Howard, 8. They were the children of Benjamin Pitzel, Holmes' business partner in an insurance fraud scheme. Benjamin was killed after being knocked unconscious and set on fire. Alice and Nellie were later found in a Toronto cellar in July of 1895. Howard's remains were discovered in a cottage Holmes had previously rented.
It's truly chilling.
Let's break down the timeline. Killings occurred between 1891 and 1894. Many victims disappeared at Holmes' hotel. Next, bodies were often buried in the basement. Some remains were destroyed using acid and cremation. Holmes confessed to 27 murders.
However, historians note that the true number of victims is unknown. Some speculate it may have been over 200, though that has never been proven. Holmes' own body was eventually found in Myomazzing Prison in Philadelphia, where he was executed.
So, was the case solved?
In some ways, yes. Holmes confessed to 27 murders and was convicted.
But many suspected victims were never conclusively proven, which leaves the case partially unsolved.
Based on the physical evidence, human remains, structural modifications to the buildings, victims' belongings, it is reasonable to conclude Holmes was responsible for many additional deaths, though not all were legally confirmed.
Holmes was found guilty. After a lengthy investigation and trial, the evidence presented in court left the title room in doubt.
And based on the evidence, the human remains recovered, the bones and teeth found in the basement, the personal belongings of victims discovered in the ovens, and the horrifying design of so-called murder castle, the verdict appears accurate. The hotel's soundproof rooms, gas lines, hidden chutes, trapdoors, vats of acid, and even a crematory painting, a chilling picture of premeditation.
Not to mention his own confession, Holmes admitted to 27 murders. That alone solidified jurisdiction.
Yet, even with that confession, investigators believe the number could be much higher. Some estimates suggest the true number of victims may never be known. While 27 killings were confirmed, rumors and evidence hinted at far more, possibly over 200.
We know entire families were destroyed. Julia Smythe and her own daughter, Pearl Connor, disappeared around Christmas of 1891. Emilian Sigrand, Minnie Williams, and Ava Nanny Williams all vanished soon after. The Pitzel children, Alice, Nini, Howard, were all murdered in 1894 as part of Holmes' insurance scheme. With Benjamin Pitzel, their deaths shocked to the nation.
And many bodies were never recovered. Some victims' remains were found as bone fragments. Others were never located at all, leading to suspicions that Holmes may have sold cadavers to medical schools.
So while the court delivered a clear verdict, guilty, the case itself remained partially unsolved. The full scope of his crimes may never be completely discovered.
Holmes was executed, but the mystery surrounding the total number of victims continues to haunt historians and investigators.
The evidence proves he was responsible for horrific crimes.
But the unanswered questions remain.
How many victims were there really?
And how many names were lost to history, never fully accounted for?
That lingering uncertainty is what keeps this case alive more than a century later. A reminder that some chapters of history close with a verdict, but not all are with answers. H.H. Holmes remains one of America's most infamous killers. A man who hid behind charm and intelligence, while constructing a building designed for murder. Behind the polished manners and professional success was somebody capable of committing calculated cruelty.
So-called Murder Castle wasn't just a hotel. It was a maze of deception, hidden passageways, sealed rooms, gas lines, chutes to the basement. Every detail served a purpose. Every design choice concealed something darker.
What makes this case endure isn't just a number of victims, whether it was 27 confirmed or many more, but it was a level of planning. Holmes exploited trust. He targeted employees, business partners, and even entire families, and for years he managed to stay ahead of suspicion.
From the disappearance of Julia Smythe and her daughter Pearl, to Amin Sigrand, to the tragic deaths of the Pitzel children, Alice, Nini, and Howard, the ripple effects of his crimes stretched across the state and shattered countless lives.
Even after his arrest and confession, questions lingered. How many victims were never identified? How many families never received answers? History gives us this part in the story, but not all of it.
And that's why cases like this still matter. Careful investigation, even decades later, helps preserve the truth. It honors the victim. It separates facts from legend.
Holmes was executed for his crimes, but the mystery surrounding the full extent of his actions continued to captivate historians and true crime research alike. His story serves as both a warning and a lesson about manipulation, deception, and unhecked ambition.
That sometimes the most dangerous monsters don't look like monsters at all. They blend in, they earn trust, and they hide in plain sight.
Thank you for listening to True Crime Chronicles. We appreciate you for spending your time with us as we explore the dark chapters of history, always with respect for the victims and those committed to the facts.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with others who love historical mysteries and deep dives into the past.
And if you have a case you'd like us to cover, reach out. The archives are full of stories waiting to be told.
Joining us next week as we cover another case from the archives, another mystery that hasn't been fully erased.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed.
And a reminder, historians always leave clues.